Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Landon, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to earn a passive income by investing in dividend stocks. So what is a dividend? Well, a dividend is a payment from a company simply for owning a share of that company. So when a company becomes profitable, it could reinvest those profits or earnings back into the company itself in order to grow its business, or it could distribute some of those earnings to shareholders in the form of a dividend. Not all companies distribute dividends, but the ones that do typically distribute these dividends quarterly or every 3 months. In some cases, some companies will distribute their dividends semi-annually or annually, and even a few that will do every single month. So how much money you make by investing in dividend stocks depends on two things. And the first one of those is the dividend yield. So if you invest $1,000 into company X and its dividend yield is 5%, you would get $50 for that year for investing $1,000 into that company. Now, like I said earlier, most companies do their dividend payouts quarterly. So that means you would get $12.50 4 times that year, just distributed throughout the year. So the second big thing is how much you have invested. Is a direct relation of how much money you're going to make. So let's say you had $10,000 invested in that company X. Well, if they're still doing the 5% dividend yield, that means you would have, instead of $50, you would have $500 paid out 4 times that same year. So what do you do with the money from the dividend? Well, you can really do one of two things. You can either, one, reinvest that money from the dividend back into the company in order to purchase more shares. And the second option is just to take the money and buy whatever you want with it. So for me personally, I tend to reinvest 100% of those dividends back into the company. And that really just kind of goes with some of my personal goals of long-term investing and letting that compounding interest really work for me. All right, so now that we're all up to speed on what dividends are and how they can make you a passive income, let's talk about what kinds of dividend stocks to buy. And for me personally, I like to buy dividend ETFs, or exchange traded funds. These ETFs are well diversified portfolios of companies that represent a broader section of the stock market. So rather than going through and picking out companies in each individual sector of the market, with an ETF, you can have all of those companies under one umbrella. So one word of caution about looking into investing in dividend stocks and companies that have very high dividend yields is to really look into the company's financials. Because if they're offering 7%, but their stock has gone down over the past 5 years 25%, then that's probably not the best decision to make when it comes to purchasing a dividend stock. So if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's generally why I personally like to go with ETFs, because I know that there's a lesser risk tolerance involved with choosing something that represents more of a broader market. Although investing with dividend stocks may not make you a millionaire overnight, the important thing to remember is the compounding interest effect and putting those dividends back into your portfolio. That concept of continually investing in order to take full advantage of the idea of compound interest. Alright, so to sort of recap what I talked about in today's video, I first talked about dividends and how they're payments received from companies for investing in that company. I then talked about a couple of ways you can make passive income from these dividends depending on the dividends yield and how much money you have invested. I then talked about my personal best idea of how to invest in dividend stocks by the ETF or exchange traded funds. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, be sure to leave a like. If you like this type of content and would like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.